Hi there, it's Nicole here today with a repeating background colored images card using the Waffle Flower Sweets stamp set. I love the images for this stamp set, but this would work for really any stamp set that you have. Instead of using coordinating dies or fussy cutting your images and using them as the focal point or the embellishment of your card, consider creating your own background with the images by repeatedly stamping them over and over and filling in your background, whatever size that might be, to make it look like it comes from a bigger sheet of paper and you've simply trimmed it down to fit the front of your card. And this is just a great way to stretch your stamps, to get more of them, and to create one-of-a-kind backgrounds. I am using the Misty to stamp my images because it really helps to be able to stamp them, number one on top of another. That way you make sure you get a really good stamped impression. And number two, I can stamp multiple images at one time, which really makes filling in the background so much easier and so much quicker. You can see I'm just kind of starting in one corner and slowly working my way out and down, filling in here and there. I can position my stamps exactly where I want them to go. And once that's full, I can pick it up with the cover of the Misty or whatever stamp positioner tool you're using and stamp those images. It just makes making the creation of your custom background so much quicker. Once I have this filled in completely, then I can start coloring everything in and really finishing it off. I even think the black and white look, kind of more of the just outline, would be really fantastic if you added some colorful images on top of that, or a really bold greeting or something like that. It's more of a line art type of image when it's like this. Now, I knew I was coloring in my images, but I thought it would be fun to really fill in all of the little white space kind of around these images with some colorful hearts. To do that, I'm taking the little mini heart from the Sweets stamp set and filling in those little open white spaces with this stamp and the awesome Waffle Flower die inks. I am using Safe Choice rather, My Pleasure, Oh Happy Day, You Said What, Chirp Chirp, New Fish in Pond, and Happy Go Lucky. Kind of the whole color of the rainbow here, filling in, adding some really fun hearts. Even at this, I think this would be a fun background if you didn't want to color in all the images. Add a big bold greeting, maybe add a colored image on top of some other layer on top from the Sweets stamp set with a little greeting underneath it. Lots of different ways that you could use this background. I'm going to figure out where to add just a few more of these hearts. I really want it nice and full, a very bold, colorful, rainbowish type of background. You will see when I start coloring in my images, I very much tried to do the whole color of the rainbow as I colored them, coordinating all of my Copic markers with these colors of dye ink. I'm going to speed through this pretty quickly. It is quite a bit of coloring. I find this is a great project to do with maybe while you watch TV in the evening, or put on some good music or listen to an audiobook, whatever it is that you do, and just sit and color. Coloring is such a relaxing activity and really fun and easy to do. To minimize the change in color, I guess I want to say, I kept the skin tone and hair exactly the same for all of the images. That helps speed up the process for me when I'm not having to constantly rethink and choose new colors for those areas. It makes it so much easier. Now, this rainbow collection of markers is more in the, I want to say pastels, but the lighter spectrum, if that makes sense. So instead of blue, I've got aqua. Instead of green, I've kind of got lime. Instead of orange, I've got peach. So I did pull in some red. I find that red is such a great balancing color. It helps things pop really well. Used yellow. For yellow, I generally use this very same color combination for almost everything. But then for the purple, it's a little bit more of that lilac purple, and then of course some pink. And I'm going to just switch those colors around while I color in all the little sweets, the gift package, the little candies here and there, and the girls' dresses. Just switching up the colors I'm using throughout the design really makes this a fun and very bright and colorful background. The lollipop sticks are in a nice neutral brown shade. I will use that same color for the candy box that the little treats are in. This is going to be a nice basic color. I wanted something really nice and neutral for those areas because there's so much color going on in the rest of the design. And I'm really trying to mix and match it and spread the colors out. So I did start kind of up in that upper left corner, and I'm working my way out and down, just mixing and matching my colors from one area to another. I'm going to go back now and do this last, go ahead and fill in all the faces of the girls with my skin tone markers while I have them all out. I generally like to color one when doing something like this, make sure that I like the color combination, and then go ahead and work my way throughout the rest of the design. The lollipops I decided to all do in red. Nice little pop of red throughout, like I was talking about earlier. Mix up the dresses. This little girl's is going to be that lime color with some aqua. The first dress was pink and green. Go ahead and do the rest of the hair just like I did before with a nice black color combination. This is C5, 7, and 9. And again, while I have those markers out and I've already determined that I like that color combination, I will go ahead and do the other two girls. Color that in, just feather in their hair really quickly. Another thing to note is all of the images for this card and the greetings are from one stamp set. I think it's kind of fun. Probably if you follow me at all, you've seen oftentimes I mix and match from multiple stamp and die collections when I'm creating. And that is one of my favorite things to do. I also think it's a nice challenge, and it definitely is an economical way to create from one stamp set and see how many different designs you can get from a single stamp set. You don't always have to mix and match, and oftentimes you can get everything you need from a single stamp set. Once I am finished coloring in the images, now comes what I kind of consider the fun part, and that is adding details. I'm adding some white highlights to the black areas, the little cherries that are on top of the candies, the detail on the dresses, adding little highlights here and there. And this is just going to add some nice detail to the images. I'm going to even add some nice white design to the lollipops. The only thing, I think that gets lost a little bit. I'm going to add a layer of glossy accents over the top, and you lose a little bit of the white detail. If I had to do it again, I would add glossy accents and then wait till it's completely dry and then add the detail on top so that I don't lose that awesome red and white swirl. Go ahead and add another one down here, or not add glossy accents to this particular image at all. You can still see it in real life, but I think in the photos it really gets lost and all you see is that nice glossy finish on this. This is a fairly flat card, and what makes The detailing for this is the little finishing touches like the white pen and glossy accents. I've got a little piece of black cardstock here that I am using a stitched layers die to die cut. It's going to give a nice little stitched outline. And on this little rectangle, I am going to stamp the greeting from the Sweets stamp set that reads Sweets for the Sweet. It's actually 2 different stamps that I'm going to stamp one at a time with Versamark ink and then emboss with white embossing powder. Make sure and get a good layer of embossing powder on the greeting and then heat set that. I love the look of white embossing powder on black cardstock. It really shows up. Now, in order for this to pop off the background just a little bit, I'm going to apply some foam adhesive to the back of this rectangle and position it coming off of the right edge of the card. That little bit of dimension is going to help it stand out from the background. Before I adhere it, I'm going to take some WFINK of Stella clear glitter brush pen and go over the candies on the background with a fine layer of glitter. Also the gift packages. Adhere my greeting along that right side. I've got a white top fold card base here. I'm going to crease it with a Teflon bone folder, adhere this panel to the front of the card. I'm going to take my glossy accents now and go ahead and add a layer of this to different areas on the background. So the cherries on top of the candies, the little hearts on the envelopes and treats. Add a layer of it to the lollipops. I'm going to also add a layer of this to some of the candies. It's because I've already put a layer of WFINK of Stella clear glitter brush pen on them. This is going to make them have a glittery, raised, glossy finish. And the glossy accents dries pretty quickly. This should all be pretty well dry within an hour or so. And I'm going to finish with some Nuvo crystal drops right here on the little rectangular greeting. This is going to add some nice little pops of color to the greeting, and I'm taking the colors of Nuvo crystal drops that I'm using directly from the colors I use to color in all of the images. So I've got some red and pink and aqua. I love the Nuvo crystal drops for being able to create enamel dots in exactly the size that I need. So if I want really teeny tiny ones, I tend to gravitate towards those, and I always use those first so I run out. I can create as many as I need. Thanks for joining me today for this repeating colored background images card featuring waffle flower stamps and dies. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring waffle flower that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.